Tell me what democracy looks like!
This is what democracy looks like!
Please, step onto the pavement, please!
This is what democracy looks like!
Whose streets? Our streets! Whose planet?
Our planet!
Whose future? I'm here because I'm terrified at what I'm seeing, the changes that I've experienced in my lifetime and the speed in the last 5 years at which that's been accelerating. And we've got so many scientists saying things are happening far faster than they expected even 5 or 6 years ago. And I just don't think we've got much time left to change our lives. And I can change my own life, I can change what I do, but I'm here to encourage other people to change their lives, and some of that will need government action. We need carbon budgeting, so we need individuals to be forced to limit what they use, because so many people seem unaware of the implications of what they're doing. And BBC aren't leading on this. There needs to be more information to help people make changes.
Executive to come down and talk to us today, but without being filmed, just to answer our questions in a civilised, non-confrontational way.
It's quite clear from the science where we are with climate change and how damaging this is going to become. Obviously, it's already damaging people in the global south. In the northern European countries, it's yet to be seen how bad it can be. We're concerned about the shortage of food, and the problem is, and why we're here today, is because media outlets, the main media outlets, aren't telling the truth as we know it, as the science knows that truth. People, general public, need to know what's happening to be able to make decisions to make their lives safe and secure.
I guess, like everyone else here, we're hoping that Extinction Rebellion's 3 demands will be met, so that the government in this country and governments all around the world and the media will tell the truth about the climate and biodiversity crises, that they will act on that. So instead of just saying we're going to do this, that they would actually do it and start doing it now. And that they'll set up a citizens' assembly in this country to make the decisions about what actions we should take.
Animal agriculture is incredibly destructive to our environment, and it has to end. It has to end now. That's my message.
And we are much more tasty, so you should eat us.
Please eat me.
Animal rebellion! Animal rebellion! Animal rebellion!
Broccoli!
we're going to be going in and out of the intersection, just blocking cars, each round of cars for a little bit, having our dance party, and then clearing out. Oh, okay, it looks like the police are surrounding us, so that's interesting. Okay, we'll have a quick powwow.
The conditions are very, very clear. People have to be in Trafalgar Square.
I am the police liaison, and they have informed us if we plan to dance for a period of like 5 minutes, we will be arrested.
Section 14 of the Public Order Act. If you do not comply and move,
so I'm confirming this so you can make your own decisions. Oh no! Oh, the police!
Our tears, our fears are powerful. They are our humanity. They're what unites us with the police here. And when I sing "Police, we love you," I mean it. I'm not just saying some words. We are doing this for your children too. They have their job to do. We know what our job is. Our job is to be here. Our job is to stand up because the government isn't standing up. The BBC is not standing up. The oil companies are not standing up. We're standing up. Police, we love you. We're doing it for your children too. Police, we love you. We're doing it for your children too, police. We love you. We're doing it for your children too. We are getting bigger. Because we are the truth. We are not an opinion, we are a truth.
Currently on the BBC News on the front page, there's no coverage of this at all. They're trying to treat this as a side issue again instead of the public, saying to them there's a direct threat to all life on Earth, including the human race. They're sidelining this.
So we decided we wanted to highlight the crisis in biodiversity, and so we have made some giant animal heads, and they're all animals that are either extinct already or endangered. I'm going to turn around so you can see on my back.
So I'm here today, just finished my biology degree. So I've spent 4 years basically studying how we're destroying our planet and all of the species extinctions and ecosystem collapses going on around the world. I've been studying the impacts that has on humanity. And essentially all of my professors keep saying, we know this is happening and no one's doing anything. And so my university degree has been 4 years of grief and frustration that nothing is changing, and it feels so amazing to be here and actually take all of that grief and frustration and put it into something productive.
I'm incredibly worried about the climate change that's going on at the moment, and when I think about having kids, it terrifies me.
Why don't we go round?
This is the grief resistance march, so it's like death themed, which I thought would maybe like be a bit negative, but actually it's quite good to like try and scare people into taking action, I think, because it is really scary. It's a grief march because the Earth is in complete crisis, and it's basically like the idea that Earth is dying and we need to save it, and there's not going to be life if we don't, and we don't do it fast, so.
People gonna rise like water, turn this system round. In the words of my great-granddaughter, climate justice now.
Somebody's gonna choose. Come on. This is a rebellion. House on fire. This is a rebellion. House on fire. If we don't act now, it'll be our funeral pyre. This is a rebellion. House on fire. This is a rebellion. House on fire.
Our current system of agricultural factory farming uses up the majority of human-owned land area on the planet. Is responsible, our pesticide and herbicide use is responsible for species extinctions, ecological collapse. So much of how we create our meat, and create seems such a horrible word to have to use, but that's how it is just not done in a way where we take the planet into account.
Come and join us. The water's lovely. Step onto the pavement, please. Step onto the pavement, please. Can you step onto the pavement, please? Can you step onto the pavement, please? You are committing an offence. Get out.
Show me what democracy looks like!
This is what democracy looks like!
Show me what democracy looks like!
This is what democracy looks like!
Show me what democracy looks like!
This is what democracy looks like!
Show me what democracy looks like!
This is what democracy looks like!
I'm from farms, not factories. The trouble is you go into a supermarket and there it is, it's a product on the shelf, but that's been a life, you know, and it's not just there for our convenience, or shouldn't be. It has huge hidden costs on the environment and on the animals, and the overuse of antibiotics, and on the pollution it causes. So I would say that we could stop eating meat, or eat much less, and just reduce consumption, use alternative energy as much as possible, cut down on the heating of our houses. I think in an ideal world, my dream is that everybody, regardless of how wealthy they are or whatever, everybody has a carbon budget, like you would have a card. And you could use that carbon, which would be any way you wanted. You could either take a flight, or you could reduce the heat of your home, or you could make sure that all the food you buy is local and you don't buy pumpkins from Chile. So you could choose, but each person would have a limit on the amount of carbon that they can emit in their daily lives. And if you had a surplus at the end of the year, that's it. That's your choice. But there's no way that you should be able to trade it with someone who's rich. I think the problem is with all these movements is that, you know, what we all need to do, we have to do together, regardless if you're rich or not. And typically what happens is, you know, they just put the price up of aeroplanes or something, or, you know, damaging, polluting behavior. But then if wealthy people just carry on as usual, I mean, we have to stop that, you know. We have to make it equal. But I mean, you know, it's just a dream.
So, we're trying to make our way to Trafalgar Square, where the police have asked us to continue our dance party. However, as you can see, they're not letting us get through.
We're here because we think, a plant-based food system will bring us a brighter future, and we're trying to carry that brightness with us. And the police here, the police with the backing of the state, is clearly not willing to hear that. They have arrested at least 2 people, and they are claiming that the only place we're allowed to protest is at Trafalgar Square, which seems like an interesting enforcement of protests and completely defeats the purpose of protest, which is to bring a message to society. At the moment, they're now escorting people away slowly, one by one, in order to dispel the protests.
They're starting to let us leave.
I was actually talking to one of the police officers when they were holding me for a little bit. He said, you can peacefully protest legally, and the thing is that's not working, right? The climate activists, animal rights activists have been protesting peacefully or within certain conditions for quite a long time. And what we've realized with other social justice movements is when we escalate, when we do incorporate civil disobedience, we get more attention, our voices are more heard, and hopefully in turn the government will finally listen.
Earlier in the summer there was flooding which caused loss of crops. Cauliflowers, you couldn't buy cauliflowers. It's a small thing if you can't buy a cauliflower, but if that starts to affect cauliflowers, carrots and all the other vegetables that you want to go out and buy to feed people, then we will all have a massive concern. And this is coming. So we need to recognise that, and we need to be resilient. And people can only do that when they've got the knowledge.
Inform yourself. If you join together with other people, that's really empowering, because as you inform yourself about the crisis we're facing, that can be really distressing, that can be really dispiriting. And I think a lot of people are in denial because it's so frightening. So if you join together with other people, other like-minded people, and that actually is more empowering. You can feel supported. You can feel that it is possible to do something. There is some hope.
I really don't think we've got a lot of time to sort this problem out, and over again we're told that it's an individual responsibility. I've spent 30 years of my life, in the last 30 years of my life, trying to make a difference in the way I live my life. The time for individual responsibility is over, and we have to do something collectively.
It's kind of hard for one person to change things. We need to do it together through institutions, the government institutions, telling us what we can do, how we can do it. If we pull together, we can do it.
This is home, where I belong. In this breath, in this heart. This is home, where I
people have been campaigning on the climate and it hasn't worked, so more drastic action must be taken.
Where I belong, in this breath.
I'm 32 and I thought I would have children, but how can I do this when the world they're inheriting is burning and flooding? Millions of people have already died through the direct causes of climate change. I'm ashamed. I feel guilty. I'm terrified of the societal collapse which is most likely coming. My government values profit over our planet and its life. I am unwilling and unable to stand aside and watch this happen. By being arrested, we demonstrate that we are one of the many who care deeply enough about this planet to lose an element of our personal freedoms. I recognise that this is my privilege. There are many who are unable to do this, and I do this on behalf of them and all life on Earth. The system we have created damages us, and it is my moral obligation to rebel against a government that no longer protects us. Thank you.
In this heart, this is home, where I belong. In this land, in this earth,